You might find that your life changes when you turn 70. Have you ever thought about that? Getting to this point in life can be exciting and give you a sense of accomplishment, but it can also be hard in its own right. In this video, we look at 8 shocking things that could have a big effect on your quality of life as you get older. Among these are health problems, being alone more often, and losing some of your independence. Every problem will be talked about in detail, and useful ideas for fixing them will be given. This article will tell you how to stay healthy and enjoy your later years with confidence. Read it all the way through. You will get a full picture of these important issues. Don't pass up this chance. You won't be sorry. Before we begin, there's something special I want to give you near the end of this video. A quiet little tip that's made a big difference in my own life. I hope you'll stay with me all the way through. Please take a moment to like, subscribe, and press the notification so you don't miss any of our future moments together. And if you're watching right now, say hello by growing, still glowing. It's always heartwarming to see who's with us. Now let's begin. 1. Loneliness and social isolation. As people age, they usually lose loved ones, which is a hard truth that many people have to face. It can be very upsetting for people who used to have many helpful relationships to lose touch with those people. The idea behind retirement is to take it easy and enjoy life, but a lot of people feel very sad when they leave their jobs. Instead, retirement might not be at all what anyone thought it would be like. They could be cut off from the family and friends who used to make their days better all of a sudden. Losing loved ones is hard, and older people may have trouble getting around. Because they have trouble moving around, it's harder for them to do fun things like going on trips, visiting friends, and going to community events. This makes it harder for them to go to social events, which could make them feel less like they belong and have a purpose. As physical problems get worse, even simple things like getting out of bed or running errands can become harder. Older people may feel even more alone because they can't interact with the outside world as much and spend more time at home. When the routine of a busy life is thrown off, being alone for a long time makes feelings of loneliness worse. Physical health problems are just as real as mental health problems when it comes to being alone. Researchers have found that people who spend a lot of time alone are more likely to get heart disease, high blood pressure, and a weak immune system. It can speed up cognitive decline and diseases like dementia in people who don't get enough mental and social stimulation. It's hard to keep your mind sharp and body healthy when you're not doing anything to stimulate and activate your mind. Doing nothing can speed up the loss of cognitive abilities. If you don't deal with these problems, they can make you feel hopeless and alone, which can make your health problems worse and make you feel even more alone. No matter what age, it's important to keep up with your friends and social life because being alone can be bad for your body and mind. These problems can be fixed by building supportive communities together, encouraging social interaction, and making sure older people have access to ways to stay connected and involved. As our loved ones get older, they deserve the best care possible. We can help them thrive, despite the changes that come with getting older, by recognizing and fixing the many ways they are socially isolated. For the second reason, health problems. As people get older, they often have various health problems, which usually get worse in their 70s and older. Their daily activities and overall health can be greatly affected by these health problems, which can have a big effect on their quality of life. There are many people who have heart disease, diabetes, rheumatoid arthritis, and cognitive decline, which includes Alzheimer's disease and dementia. The most common cardiovascular problems are heart disease, congestive heart failure, and high blood pressure. These conditions can make it very hard to do physical activities. These conditions may make it harder to exercise, which can lower your stamina and endurance. Taking care of these long-term conditions usually requires a comprehensive approach that includes regular visits to medical professionals, strict adherence to complicated medication schedules, and big changes in how you live your life. Diabetes requires people to be constantly alert in order to control it. This usually means taking many different medicines or insulin shots, checking their blood sugar levels often, and following strict dietary rules. Problems with nerves, the kidneys, and the eyes can all happen because of diabetes, which makes it harder to control the disease overall. Hypoglycemic episodes can also happen if diabetes is not treated. These can be dangerous and cause anxiety because of the constant fear of having very low blood sugar levels. Cognitive disorders, such as Alzheimer's disease and dementia, are another big problem for older people. These conditions have an impact on many areas of cognitive function, such as behavior, thinking, and memory. People with these disorders often have trouble with daily tasks and may find it harder. And people with these disorders often struggle with daily tasks and may find it harder to recognize familiar people and places. Losing abilities affects not only the individual, but also their family and caretakers. Also, osteoarthritis is a common illness in older people, especially women who have gone through menopause. This condition causes pain and stiffness in the joints all the time, which can make everyday things like getting dressed, walking, and even holding things awkward and hard. The constant pain that comes with osteoarthritis can make people less active, which could make other health problems worse, like obesity and heart disease. Please comment number 1 below to let me know you are still watching this video with me and that you found these lessons helpful. Third, becoming more dependent on medications. As we get older, our bodies go through many changes that make us more dependent on medications to treat different health problems. For many older people, this means figuring out how to take a complicated set of prescription drugs that are meant to treat several health problems at the same time. People over 65 are more likely than younger people to use multiple medications at the same time. This is called polypharmacy. Having various medications can present both advantages and disadvantages. On the one hand, these medicines are very important for managing long-term conditions like heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, arthritis, and diabetes, which are common in older people. They can help ease symptoms, stop the disease from getting worse, and improve life overall. Although polypharmacy is possible, it also comes with many problems and risks. The risk of drug interactions is one of the main worries. Adverse drug interactions are more likely to happen when you take more than one drug. These interactions can have side effects that were not expected or make the medicines less effective, which can make treatment more difficult and possibly cause new health problems. For example, one drug might change how another is absorbed or used, which could cause an imbalance that could either make problems worse or cause new ones. Another big risk is having bad reactions to medicines. There are changes in how older adults' bodies work that make them more sensitive to drugs. People who are more sensitive may be more likely to have side effects, which can range from minor discomfort to serious health crises. Additionally, taking more than one drug at the same time can make managing these side effects more difficult because it can be hard to figure out which drug is causing a certain reaction. The sheer number of medications can also make it hard to stick to treatment plans. Taking many pills at set times every day requires a lot of organization and consistency, which can be hard for people who are losing their minds or having memory problems. Having to work with multiple healthcare providers who may each prescribe their medicines makes this problem even worse and could lead to a disorganized approach to care. This kind of medication dependence has effects that go beyond physical health. It can have a big effect on a person's sense of well-being and independence. Having to keep up with a complicated medication schedule can make it harder to do normal things and lower your quality of life in general. Additionally, as people depend more and more on medications to keep their health, it may make them feel helpless or out of control. To sum up, medications are necessary to deal with many of the health problems that come with getting older, But becoming more dependent on them comes with several problems. Drug interactions, bad reactions, and problems with sticking to a treatment plan can have a big effect on your health and quality of life as a whole. To deal with these problems, medication schedules need to be carefully managed and checked on a regular basis to make sure they stay safe, effective, and in line with the person's changing health needs. 4. Problems with money. When people reach their 70s, money worries often become the most important thing in their daily lives. It can be hard to live on a fixed income, especially since the costs of things like housing, healthcare, and other necessities are going up all the time. Unfortunately for many elderly people, their pensions and savings may not be enough to cover their needs. This lack of enough can cause constant financial stress and, in the worst cases, even poverty. Having trouble with money has many different effects. Elderly people often have to make hard choices about how to spend their limited funds. It's possible that they would have to pick between paying their rent and buying healthy food, or between paying for electricity and buying medicines they need. These choices can have a huge impact on their quality of life. When money is tight, they may have to skip meals, put off important medical care, or limit their social interactions, all of which can have serious effects on their health. You can't overstate how stressful it is to worry about money. Stress and hopelessness can grow when you worry about making ends meet over and over again. These emotional problems can make it even harder for them to find happiness and satisfaction in old age. Many older people have a lower quality of life in their later years because they have to deal with health problems, financial problems, and being alone. This can make their twilight years very hard and stressful. 5. Fear of crime and insecurity. As people get older, they are often more likely to be victims of fraud, break-ins, and physical assault. Several factors can cause this higher risk, such as losing some of your physical and mental abilities and being more likely to live alone. Older adults may have trouble protecting themselves or responding quickly to threats, which makes them more likely to be harmed or criminalized. There is a big problem with the amount of fraud that targets older people. Scammers often take advantage of the trust and lack of technological knowledge of older people by calling them, sending them emails, or meeting them in person to trick them. These scams can be anything from schemes to steal their money or identity that put their personal information at risk. If you fall for one of these scams, it can have a huge effect on your life, making you feel ashamed, betrayed, and anxious. Aside from financial scams, older people are also more likely to be burglarized and physically abused. Their homes may not be as safe as they think, especially if they live alone and can't take as many precautions. These kinds of events can cause a lot of psychological damage, like increased fear, anxiety, and a general feeling of not being safe. These events can cause a lot of stress and emotional problems, which can make mental health problems like depression and loneliness worse. These worries about security have effects that go beyond just feeling safe. An older person's overall quality of life can be greatly affected by a persistent fear of crime. People who feel vulnerable may withdraw from society because they are afraid to leave their homes or do things they used to enjoy for fear of being hurt. This withdrawal can make them feel even more cut off from their communities, which can make them feel even more lonely and hurt their mental health. Taking care of these problems requires a multifaceted approach. Better safety measures, like community watch programs, home safety assessments, and more people knowing how to stop fraud, can help lower the risks that older people face. Building a network of family, friends, and community resources that can help each other out can also offer emotional support and practical help, which can help ease the fear and insecurity that come with getting older. By putting older people's safety and well-being first, we can help them feel safe and continue to live their lives with confidence and activity. 6th, loss of identity and purpose. Retirement and the empty nest syndrome can have a big effect on older people, making them feel like they have lost their identity and purpose. When you switch from a structured daily routine, like having a job or being a parent, to a more open and less defined lifestyle, it can be hard to fill the void that you feel. The sense of purpose that used to come from having a job or raising kids may be replaced by a sense of not having anything to do. As kids get older and move out, parents often find it hard to get used to having less to do each day and a quieter home. This change can make people feel like they are no longer needed or useful. People can find it hard to find new sources of meaning and fulfillment when they suddenly have a lot of free time and don't have the roles and routines that used to define their lives. It can be hard for many people to find new hobbies or activities that give them a sense of purpose. When someone loses a clearly defined role, they may feel hopeless and worthless, which can make it hard to enjoy their later years. This change can have a big effect on your emotions, lowering your overall happiness and satisfaction. Trying new things like volunteering, pursuing hobbies, or getting involved in community events can help you feel better and give you a sense of purpose again. But getting through this transition takes time, patience, and support. It can be helpful to find new ways to connect with others and give back to the community. But you often need to be proactive and get support from people you care about. Please comment number 2 below to let me know you're still watching this video with me and that you found these lessons helpful. 7th, the digital divide. The fast and constant progress of technology makes things hard for many older people, which is one reason why this issue is often called the digital divide. This divide shows the difference between people who can easily access and know how to use digital technology and people who can't. For older people, the fast changes in gadgets, apps, and internet services can be especially scary. They may feel like they're falling behind in a world where digital communication and information are becoming more and more important. One of the most important problems is that it's hard to keep up with new technologies. The sheer number of new technologies and how quickly they come out may be too much for many older people to handle. It can be hard and frustrating to figure out how to use new devices, like computers, smartphones, and tablets. People who aren't as good with technology may find features and interfaces that are easy for younger generations to use, confusing, or impossible to get to. This digital divide could have real effects on several important areas of life. For example, more and more people use online platforms to manage their money. Internet banking or mobile apps are now used for many financial tasks, like paying bills, keeping track of accounts, and getting to financial services. People who aren't familiar with these technologies may find it hard to manage their personal finances, which could cause them to miss payments, make mistakes, or be more likely to fall victim to scams. Another important area affected by the digital divide is getting health care. Telemedicine and online health services are becoming more popular. They make care easier to access, but you must know how to use technology. For older people who aren't used to using computers, online portals can make it hard to make appointments, access medical records, and talk to healthcare providers. This can cause them to miss appointments, have trouble managing their health conditions, and feel disconnected from healthcare services. It also affects your ability to maintain relationships with those you care about. More and more, people talk to each other online through apps like video calls, social media, and messaging sites. For older people who might not know how to use these technologies well, it can be hard to stay in touch with family and friends. This lack of use of digital tools for communication can make people feel even more alone and isolated, which can make it harder to keep meaningful relationships going. The digital divide not only makes everyday tasks harder, but it also makes people feel frustrated and left out in general. Technology is always changing, which can make people feel behind the times and cut off from the modern world, which can have emotional and mental effects. This feeling of being alone can make you less confident and make you feel more lonely and frustrated. To close the digital divide, specific efforts must be made to help and educate older people. Digital literacy programs, technology that is easy to use, and tech support in the community can all help close the gap. We can help older people regain their confidence and stay connected and involved in a world that is becoming more and more digital by creating a space where they can learn and use new technologies at their own pace. Eighth, loss of independence. As people get older, their physical and mental abilities naturally get worse, making it harder for many people over 70 to stay independent. Some things that were once easy to do, like cooking, cleaning, and getting dressed, can become frustrating and sad. This slow loss of independence can have a big effect on their sense of who they are and their worth, which can make them depressed and hopeless. Lessening your independence has effects that go beyond simple problems. Having to depend on family members for help can put a strain on relationships, making the elderly feel like a burden. Because of this, people can feel like they've lost control over their own lives, as well as their place in their family and community. When care at home isn't enough, moving to an assisted living facility is often the only option. Moving to a facility like this requires a lot of emotional adjustment. Residents have to get used to new places, routines, and caregivers they don't know. This change can be a painful reminder of the problems that come with getting older, which can make the emotional pain of losing your independence even worse. When someone moves into assisted living, their daily life changes in big ways. It means getting used to living with other people, figuring out how to get along with others, and getting used to having less privacy. This change, which is sometimes necessary to make sure of safety and proper care, can make loss worse and make a person feel less like themselves. Overall, losing independence can have a big effect on a person's mental health, which makes it a very hard part of getting older. It's always a joy to have you with us. If this video left you feeling uplifted or renewed, please subscribe and tap the bell. There's more where this came from, and we'd love for you to be a part of it. If you're feeling positive energy, share this video with 5 people you love. The more we share healing words, the more the universe flows life, strength, and joy back to us and to them. Be a ripple of goodness. The world needs it, and so do we.